Good day. Most companies have a lot of electronic data already. We've spoken about where data is and everything like that, but most companies already have quite a lot of electronic data. They are in forms of spreadsheets, databases, on certain pieces of software, and they spread it all over the company. We have found that many companies actually have data specifically on the user's PCs, not necessarily on a central server. These are either on PCs themselves, laptops, on their devices, their phones, their tablets. They share it on Google Drive, on iCloud. It's all over the place. Now, that in itself is not a major issue, but because you've got the data, but it does pose some serious risks to your company. The first part of it is that there's probably no real backups of the data unless you've got it on the cloud or something like that. So if you've got it on your PC, then the data could technically get lost if that PC crashes. The other part of it is, especially with mobile devices like laptops and phones and iPods and iPads and stuff like that, is the data can get stolen or lost. Now, depending on the data, you probably don't want your sensitive data to get in the hands of some other guy outside there that can use that data against you. It could also be quite embarrassing if that data falls in the wrong hands. Another problem is, because the data is on a PC somewhere or on somebody's desktop, they can really put in there whatever they want to. There's no real audit functions or a way to confirm that the data is correct. Another risk that you probably have is that only the person that's got the data has access to it. So what if you want access to the data? You need to get past that person and get a copy of the data, resulting in another problem. Who's got the latest copy of the data? There might be 4 or 5 versions of the data lying all over the place. Which one is the one that you can trust? Now, the solution to this is obviously to get all the data in one place and to be able to work from the data. But that's easier said than done. If the data is distributed everywhere, then to just bring it together can be done, but it's going to be a very, very costly exercise. So my suggestion is to use a phased approach to actually solve this problem. The first thing is to eliminate your risks. So to create a server somewhere central where everybody's just got to make a backup of their data. That way at least you know your data is safe, and if somebody needs to access it, they can go to the central store and get a copy of the data and know that that's the latest copy of the data. The next part would be to slowly get the data into a sort of an integrity database, a central server, central information system, where you can now have access to the data in a controlled manner. Now, for that, you need to get a partner or get your IT department or your development department to come up with a solution that's going to work with that. The best thing, obviously, is to get a partner that's done it many, many times. And thereafter, you prioritize your data and find which ones are the most critical ones to actually start transferring over to the system. My suggestion is that you have a look at your data and determine where your most value is in that data. Now, you have to always remember that no data can just be ignored. You have to know that the person that created the data and took all the effort to keep it up to date had a purpose for it in the first place. So every piece of the data must be critically evaluated to determine its value to the business. So, for the next week, have a look at the data that you've got in your company. Have a look at where that data is and find a way to get the data into a central place and evaluate how you can actually take the data and make it more valuable.